But I had to get back to the city to learn about another local speciality. No, not food or wine, but theatre. I headed to South Bank to learn about Melbourne Theatre Company, Australia's oldest theatre company. And you've worked at MTC for a very long time.
Very long.
Tell me a little bit about the history of the place and how it's become such a vital part of Melbourne's art scene.
Well, I have to say, I haven't been around for quite as long as the company's been around. But we were formed in 1953 by an English guy called John Sumner. And he looked at Melbourne and he thought, this community's big enough and bold enough to have a professional theatre company. So that's what he created.
How many plays do you normally have here every year?
We have 2 theatres in the building, the Sumner Theatre, named after John Sumner, and we do about half of our main stage work, so about 6 plays running through the year. And we have a second theatre, the Lawler, where we do a lot of experimental work, play readings, development work. So any week you come to Melbourne, we'll have a play on.
Let's talk about the architecture of this place, because it's so striking.
It is. When you go to New York and go to Broadway or go to the West End in London to see a show, it's light, it's lively, it's nighttime, but it's sort of full of people and full of adventure. And we wanted to work out how you create the 21st century version of that. So what we've got is sort of, in some ways, a blank black slate surrounded by these amazing glow-in-the-dark white pipes that turn into 3D shapes, and it's sort of a real attractor at nighttime. We've also created a building with lots of windows, so you can look in. And so you go to theatre for night. And luckily for us, it works during the day beautifully as well.
Shall we go and take a look around?
Absolutely. So this is our beautiful Sumner Theatre.
Tell me about these words on the wall.
Well, it's another thing like the outside of the theatre. And there's 69 quotes from plays, mainly plays we've done, but some plays we dream that we will do one day.
What about the Lawler? Is that much the same as this, or...?
It's a very different sort of space. It's a space that's what we call a black box. It can be used for anything. So for rehearsals, for development, for new plays.
What kinds of plays do you have here at Melbourne Theatre Company?
We'll do the Australian, the international, we'll do the new, we'll do the classics. It's a beautiful space that's a really flexible space for actors and directors and designers to play with. So we can do anything.
I've heard that there is another room that's quite special.
Let me take you there.
Wow, Anne, this is incredible.
Isn't it just? A theatrical toilet in a theatre.
I know, so much to look at in here. Tell me a bit about how this all came about.
Well, they came about because we found some old sepia photographs of backdrops. And backdrops are the sort of back part of scenes from plays in the 1920s and 30s. And we gave them to some contemporary scenic artists, people who paint sets for a living, and said, what would your peers 50, 60, 70 years ago have done? And so they made paintings from these photographs, and then we turned them into wallpaper.
Stunning. Well, Anne, thank you so much for showing me around your beautiful theatre.
My absolute pleasure, and have a wonderful time in the theatre tonight.
I will.